everyone, and welcome to Two Player Quest. Today I am here with my husband Tom.
Hello.
And we are going to discuss our top 5 games. We have both separately made our own lists. We haven't seen each other's lists yet, so it's you know just as much as we do. And I'm just going to start with my number 5, and that is Twilight Imperium, 4th edition.
Oh, Twilight.
We play Twilight every now and again, as it is a very long game. It can take 8 to 12-ish hours. And I just enjoy the diplomacy part of it, the space battle part of it, but also the fun you can have with friends, and you can sort of mess around a bit. And I just really like the game.
Yeah, in the 2 years we have the game now, I think we played it 6 to 8 times?
Yeah, something like that. So we have played it quite often for it being such a long game, but it's definitely a game that you discuss beforehand. Oh look, we're going to play that game, and that's it for the day.
During the game, it is a nice game. It takes 8 till 12 hours, but you don't notice it. The moment you notice, it's like, this is an hour further. We just played around. But during the game, you're
immersed. You're in the game. You just sort of.
You forget the time.
Yeah, it's very much a sort of game in which I would suggest you set a timer. Otherwise, you will forget to eat. Oh.
Or get snacks, or get drinks.
Or get drinks. It's very much you're so in the game you forget how long everything takes.
And the politics about it. So with friends, if you're making plan, you play politics a bit. It can be a really nice game. So last time I think we played with. I went on a warpath with someone else, so I had one flank secured. We still lost because the other 3 players worked together to try and stop us. But it was really fun. Yeah,
so I have Twilight Imperium at number 5. What do you have at number 5?
My number 5 is a different game. It's Heroes of Tenefir. So it's a cooperative dungeon crawl deck building game. So you build your own deck, try to go through a dungeon and then defeat the last boss. It's a nice game. It takes only 1 hour, 2 hours to play. We even played it on the airport. So on holidays it's now a must-take for us.
Yeah, it's a staple for us to bring if we're limited on space, but we want to have a serious game because, as you say, it takes an hour, possibly an hour and a half, but it's still a lot of fun, and all it takes is a few cards. So it's just an easy travel game, and I agree, it's a good game. Yeah.
So that's why it's my number 5. So shall I go to my number 4?
Go to your number 4.
Number 4 is a newer game in our collection. It's Civolution.
Ah.
So I placed it at number 4. Civolution is a heavy Euro style game, which takes quite a while. We played in I think an hour or 2. So with the 2 of us, we played quite quickly. Building your empire a bit. The first game was we didn't like our first game because we thought we couldn't build that much. But then we played the second and third game. It went a lot better.
Yeah, it takes some understanding to play Civolution. If you want to know more, I will link to my video somewhere. But it is a very good game. I agree that the first few games was definitely getting into the game and thinking to yourself, how on earth are you supposed to score that many points? And you do eventually get there. So it is a lot more fun to play with more experienced players than possibly someone new who's still trying to get into the groove, as I say.
And teaching wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
No, this is also true, because we played it with a friend of ours, and the teaching went quite smoothly, because it is still quite a logical game. It's just a big game.
It's a big game with a lot of options, so if you know the basics, you can actually quite easily play it. It does take a while to know everything you can do. It also helped that he watched the video how to play beforehand. So that's, yeah.
Yeah, that's also something I would suggest for pretty much any game. If you have found a good video online that explains how to play the game, send it to people. They are very useful. Now, for my number 4, I have eclipse Second Dawn to the Galaxy because it's still a good game. Again, I have made a video. It will be up there somewhere. It's a good game. I like it. It's a space 4X game. It's got quite a lot of combat and it's a bit of engine building, but not too much. I mainly like the different designs that you can make for your ships. So do you want more...
It is build your own spaceship.
It's build your own spaceship. So do you want more attack or do you want more defense? And how quickly do you want to go? So I just like the diversity that gives. The space combats are always quite funny and
not always against each other. That's the whole thing about the game. So you can actually go a whole game. I think at some point we played, I think for the first 7 turns we didn't attack each other.
You have NPCs to attack, so that's also...
You can still try out your spaceships, but not against another player. You can still try that with various degree of success, as we know.
Yep. But I think that is a good game. Now I'm on 3, I think. And my number 3 is one that's not on your list. I can guarantee it's not on your list. Is Arkham Horror, 2nd edition. Because we don't like the 3rd edition. The 3rd edition is too much like Eldritch Horror. But we like the 2nd edition, which is basically you're rolling dice to fight, close gates, defeat the Ancient One. It's a teamwork rolling dice kind of game.
I do like the fact that you can actually find new items which you can actually specialize a character. So you can actually, your character can grow a bit during the campaign or during the mission.
Well, it feels like a campaign sometimes considering its length, but...
Yeah, but also getting there's one expansion where you get personal objectives for each one.
Yes.
It gives a bit of more flavor.
It does. Otherwise it can be, I mean, characters specialize in certain things, but it is the kind of game, if you don't get certain items, it can be harder. If you don't get the right guns or weapons, it can be harder to win the game. But luckily there's plenty of them.
I'm not saying if it's on my list, but I know at least it's not going out of our cupboard soon, because it's still a good game.
It certainly is. So what do you have at number 3?
My number 3 is a game we actually don't have anymore. It's a Game of Thrones, the board game, 2nd edition.
Oh,
so I really like the Game of Thrones was a nice series, but it's not about series. The game itself is like you fight for castles and you have hidden orders and you have few attacks. So it is a combat-based game. But it really flows nicely. You have to play with more people. And that's also why it left our cupboard. And it takes a long time to play. But a bit of, you can fight here, you can help someone, you can say you're helping him and don't help him. The new expansion, the Mother of Dragons, also adds that you have vassals. So every kingdom in the series has a role in it then, instead of only the ones you're playing. So I really like the game. It's still a shame it left our cupboard, but we never played it anymore. But it still has a place in my heart.
And that's the important part.
Yes, and that's my number 3.
Okay.
So my number 2 is, I think it should be on your list. I think it's on your list. It's Gloomhaven / Frosthaven. So yeah, it's a dungeon crawl campaign style of game. It is supposed to be legacy, but if you just put the cards in a different box, you can still replay the game a few times. I think we've played Gloomhaven around 3 times, a full playthrough with 2 or 4 characters. We also started with some friends, but that takes ages to get through if you only play once every 2 weeks. But with the 2 of us, it's a really nice game. We haven't played through Frosthaven yet, but at some point we will get it in our table and leave it there for a few months to play through it.
Okay, well, it's not at number 2. My number 2 is Terraforming Mars. Despite it's not been on our table too much recently, it is still one of the best games that we have played, or at least I believe that we have played. Just because of the, I don't know if it's the resource management or the engine building, however you want to call it, aspect of the game. You just go for something, you do it, you keep building up your company or your engine, again, depending on how you want to call it, and you just go for it. And I don't know why I like it so much. There's plenty of games that sort of are similar, but we enjoy less, I feel. But Terraforming Mars, especially with some of the expansions, I find...
Not all of the expansions.
That's why I said some.
Yeah.
With some of the expansions are just, for me, a very good game.
Despite the fact that I keep winning the game.
Despite the fact that you keep winning this game, I still think it's a good game.
Yeah, I heard some people talk about it. It's a short game. We play it quite long because we're not really terraforming. Our terraforming happens at the end of the game, or it's when someone starts, the other one starts as well, and then we terraform really quickly. But we like the building up of our empire, if you can call it, of your...
It's an empire. It's a corporate empire.
Yeah, your corporation. We keep building it. I think it's safe to say we played it at least 100 times with the two of us.
I thought we were more towards the 150 at this point.
It might be. It's still a game. I think it still comes on the table, even with new games coming in.
Sometimes you just fancy an old favourite, so that is why it's my number 2. Now, we've already discussed this one. My number 1 is Frosthaven/Gloomhaven. Because they are just, for us, a very good game. It's the campaign, it's the amount of, well, it's not that much personalization in Gloomhaven. I mean, you have per level, you have 2 cards you can choose from, so you can't, it's not as much personalization to a character as, say, something like Dungeons of Doria.
No, also not the same with the items. You don't really, the only thing that really can make you grow is the enchantments, which you can only get a few at a time. To make them stronger. But then the advantage is if you played more campaigns, you just leave those stickers there. You can actually, your characters can grow quite strong at that point.
Yeah. So, yeah, as we previously discussed, that's my number 1,
yeah.
Gloomhaven/Frosthaven. Yes, we are putting together Gloomhaven and Frosthaven as they are very similar and pretty much the same game. We didn't think it would be worth listing them separately.
Yeah, and also we didn't include any of our games under 30 minutes.
Yeah, we also didn't include any games under 30 minutes, just because most of those are not necessarily, first of all, games that other people are interested in. Otherwise, if you do want to see that, put it in the comments below, and I can certainly make you a video about it.
Yes, so my number 1. So we had one mutual choice, apparently not on the same rank. Now this is the second one. But it's not Terraforming Mars. Did you... It has to be Eclipse. Eclipse, Second Dawn for the Galaxy is on my number 1 spot, yes. I do really like the game. It is empire building, but also you can attack each other, you don't have to. I think we can even play with the 2 of us, which is still a good game. It's better with more.
Definitely.
But it's still a good game with 2. And we still need to try it out with more than 4. So we haven't tried it out with the full 6. We don't have the expansions also. But it's still, yeah.
No, we have some expansions.
Oh, we have the smaller expansions,
we don't have the big new expansions, the Seekers and the something or others.
Yeah, and I still need to find out. You can make you can build your own empire, so your own faction. And people have done that and still need to find a way to print that out because of the text that you have to place on them and the ship upgrades. But that will make it more interesting even.
This is the proper printing of the I think it's A5 or something. No,
A3 you need at least.
Pieces of paper that you have, the player boards basically. Because we do have the normal A4 printed, but you can't fit that properly. You can't fit the game on it properly. It just doesn't play quite as well. So
it's not as political as, say, Twilight Imperium. So it's more like it's an empire, more empire building than Twilight, but also build your own spaceship. As I told you before, it was on my name, like on my sheet before yeah. So. Build your own spaceship. I have had small fighters with lots of missiles, which has like, I need to roll one good roll or else I lost this battle in one go. And the other side, I think I've built at some point built a dreadnought that was near invincible. And just But it was really slow.
Yeah, it's weak in attack, but very hard to defeat. So you just basically need to roll the right things, and you win.
Yeah. So that was our top 5 of separate lists.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think we were planning on making another one, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna make another top 5 video. In this case, specifically for our top 5 2-player games that we will be discussing together. What do we think should be where and why? So that's something that will be coming out at some point. I'm not going to make any promises because I don't know when we're going to find the time.
Yeah, but
that is something that is coming. But for now, I would like to thank you for watching. I hope you found it interesting. I would like to thank Tom for helping with this video.
Yeah, happy to help.
And I look forward to seeing you next time on 2-Player Quest. Bye.